Hey
guys. Hey guys!
It's Mikaela
and Aimee,
and this week on Sisterly Time we decided to do a DIY video.
So what this is it's a cork board, just any standard cork board, and we decorated it to the seasons.
It was so easy and we had all the supplies. The cork board costed $7 and we got it years ago and it was just lying around the house waiting for something to be done to it.
And so we did something to it, and I think that this is super cute.
It's a great way to spice up your room, especially when you're trying to transition from fall to winter.
Yep.
So aside from that, we hope you enjoy the video.
And thumbs it up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you want to see more of our videos.
It would mean so much to us because we're just trying to start our channel. So we really appreciate it. Thanks for the views. See you guys next week when we bake cookies.
Yes.
So until then, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. To start, we're going to need a bunch of tacks and some leaves, fresh or not. Some clothes pegs. You're going to need a pair of scissors and a ball of twine and some fancy Christmas ornaments. And you're going to need some tape. You can use painter's or masking tape. And then you need a blank cork board and a sponge brush paint applicator. So you're just going to start by taking your tape, measure it out. You don't really need a ruler for this, just figure it out yourself. And then put it down. As you can see, the tape that we used was not the best, but it did the job. And if I would have done it again, I probably would have gotten newer tape. This stuff was really old, but it's all I could find. So I guess we just grinned and bared it. Anyway, keep going. So then you're just going to tape it down, and you can overlap, obviously, the other tape, but you're going to probably have some excess because it's never going to be perfectly measured. And then you're just, if you have excess, don't worry too much about it. Just cut it off at the line where it's going to overlap onto the frame, which you don't want, because if it overlaps onto the frame, you're going to get really weird lines, and that will be kind of a bummer. So just cut it off like so. And yeah, just make sure you run your finger along it to make sure that it's pretty sealed. Even though this stuff was not very good, we still tried to to make sure that it was sealed. Just, I guess, to make sure that there was no paint on the cork board. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. So just run your finger along it, make sure that it's sealed. Like I said 50 billion times, I'm babbling. Oh well, I tend to do that. Okay, so now you're just going to take your white paint, or whatever color you're using. White goes best in my room, so that's what we chose. And you're just going to put it on the cardboard like you see right there. And then take your sponge and then dip it in. And then it works really well to dab it onto the to the frame. And then, I know we started just blending it out, but it works really well to dab it because since it's a sponge, if you dab it, you're letting it all out. Sometimes it works to just blend, other times it works to dab. So figure out what works best for you. You can kind of see that I switched it up at times. And don't do awkward strokes because, like, it's white, and, I mean, even if you're using black, just try and keep the strokes the same. It's going to dry anyway, but just to try and make sure it looks good, use good strokes. And then, of course, you don't really have to worry about where your brush lands because you put down the tape. And then, I didn't mention this earlier, but make sure that your work surface is covered by something. So we just use an old craft tablecloth that was like we've had for years. And when you're doing the side like I'm doing now, you're gonna have to place it like on the floor. And so if you don't have something underneath, your mom or dad or somebody's gonna get really mad at you. And so, yeah, just save yourself anything and everything and just put down a darn tablecloth because it will help, I promise you. And then your hands are probably going to get a little bit messy with paint because A, it's white, and B, you're touching it. So, yeah, just don't worry about it. You can wash it off. It's acrylic. This stuff actually dried really, really fast, which is quite nice. So we just painted it, and then we ate dinner, and then once we finished dinner, we were able to do a second coat. I mean, like, we had to eat dinner, and then we had to help clean up, but it didn't really take that long. So the last side's going to be kind of awkward, but that's okay. You just make do, and yeah, it might get paint everywhere. If you're too worried about it, the paint on one side getting smudged because you can't hold it properly, you can always wait for it to dry. I mean, we just wanted to get it done, but realistically, it probably would have been better if we had been a bit more patient and just done each side and then let it dry, and then, but we're not very patient people, so we had to do it all at the same time. So now we're just doing our second coat. It's going to make it look super pretty and just clean it up. White is one of those colors where if it's not put on properly, it's going to show the underneath, and that wouldn't be very good. So that's why we did a second coat. So now you're going to take your twine and you're going to measure it and give it a little bit of extra length because you're going to tie stuff onto it. So, yeah, just give yourself lots of room, and then you can just cut off any excess afterwards, which we do a lot of in this DIY. Okay, so take a peg, and then on the part that sticks out, like between the top and that, you get what I'm saying. You're just going to tie it on, and if not really quite sure if it's going to hold, you can always hot glue it on. We didn't do that though. So
There.
now you're just going to put it on and just thread on the Christmas ornaments. So we're doing the Christmas ornaments now, and then we'll do the fall leaves later. So just string them on. If you had any like strings to put onto the Christmas tree, just cut those off, and then you can do this. So I know it's not going to go on like that because that would look really weird. So now that it's all dried, you're just going to take off your tape. Take it off kind of carefully because you never really know if it's going to peel some paint off. Like, it didn't peel any off ours, but we must have just used a better paint. Okay, so now we have threaded the ornaments on, and you just want to make sure that the pegs line up. I don't think our pegs lined up pretty well there. And then there's a lot of excess, as you can see, but I'll just cut those off, and yeah, it's pretty easy. But make sure you try and use light ornaments, because if you use really heavy ornaments and you hang it up in your room, it may be like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then your ornaments are going to fall down on the floor, and it's going to be really loud, and you are going to be so startled. I was really scared of that happening the first night, which thank goodness it didn't, but yeah, so just be careful about that. Also, if you're really worried about the pegs or something, I'm sure you could find some other way to, I don't know, like, I don't even know, maybe you could staple something on, and it's a cork board, you'll make do. So, now for the fall one. So, for the winter, we didn't really film this, but we did put winter pictures underneath, and you'll see that at the end with the final product. But for the fall ones, we just printed out some pictures. But what a really good idea is that we did not get the time to do was just take some pictures with your friends or family, you know, in that kind of setting. So for the fall, Aimee and I could have taken some pictures, you know, of each other and then put it up on the corkboard as something really nice to have. Of course, put some pictures of friends. And I'm going away to university next year, and this would be so nice to have next year, to have nice pictures of my friends and family, yet keep it pretty seasonal with the ornaments or the leaves. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the leaves, and this is a really bad filming job, but pick up 2 leaves, pick up one big, one small, and then layer them, and then you're just going to take a peg and then pinch them together, and then just, of course, attach it using that on to the twine. It's really so simple. Then you're just gonna do this. And I thought I was being fancy by putting one peg up, one peg down. Really, it's not very good to do that. So I would just honestly just put them all up or all down and see which way works. I kind of forget which way works, but one way does work. And that way, which I'm showing you right now, does not work. So you'll figure it out. If one way doesn't work, just flip them over and that'll work. The only thing about using fresh leaves, Aimee and I thought we were being so clever by using fresh leaves that had just fallen in our backyard. But in a couple days, the leaves all shriveled up, and so now I'm just tempted to go out to the dollar store and buy some fake ones. That would honestly work the best. See there, it works, but it'll flip soon after that. Yep, there's my lovely socks. Weird picture, but oh well. So there it is, hanging up in my room. And there's the winter one with the nice winter pictures that we got off Google Images. So thank you for that, Google Images. So yeah, that is a DIY, and hope you liked it. Bye.